Welcome back, Shalloners and Mendez Army and Camila Mendez fans. No, well, I mean, you might be a Camila Mendez fan, but I mean Camila Cabello, right? Camila Mendez is on Riverdale, who I also heart. We can talk about all these people. But actually, today we're going to talk about Shamila because they've been spotted out and about Frenching with their wide open mouths all over the Miami shoreline, and we got to talk about it. But first, I want to remind you guys that if you want to chit chat with me privately, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO, and click chat to get connected right away. And be sure and follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you guys choose the next topic of the videos and weigh in. And also be sure to check out my podcast, Girl on Top, out every Wednesday, wherever podcasts are found. So Shamila, and I let you guys vote on this. We did a whole bracketology system because there was a whole bunch of different angles. I was thinking like how to fix a bad kisser because look at this photo. Oh, damn. I mean, girl, Camila, your mouth shouldn't completely cover his snout area. Like you're not a boa constrictor unhinging your jaw, ready to swallow him whole. I mean, you can in other areas, hey, but not this one. Like, so I will do one about how to fix a bad kisser, but I realize I should probably have like a real human boy here. And if you guys don't know my background with kissing, I can actually say that I am the #1 kisser in the world. I did a series for Howcast, another popular YouTube channel. And in fact, that's how a lot of you guys found me here on this channel. I did like a whole series on how to kiss and they went like ultra viral, like 35 million views each. Like there's a lot of bad kissers out there, a lot, and hopefully a lot less now that like I've gotten my little lips and paws on everybody. So, but they were really fun to film. I just made out with a guy all day. It was awesome. But so we're not going to talk about that today. We are going to talk about though, PDA. PDA. You know what PDA is? PDA is like whistling. It's great fun for the person doing it and absolute torture for anyone else. Absolute agony. Did you not want to kill yourself when I was whistling? Were you just like, oh my God, for a second, you're like, how long is she going to do this for? This has to stop. It's a nightmare. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about Shamila in general because you know, I've done a whole bunch of videos on them and it's like, we just keep going around and around the circle of, is this real? Like, is it really real? Because I don't know. Because for a guy who is super low key, she seems less low key. She seems way more fame hungry. Like he is arguably the bigger star, you know? And so it's natural to be like, is this a clout relationship, a clout chasing shit? I'm still working out the kinks on that one. But are these two just like teamed up to promote their single Senorita? And like TMZ actually made a good point when they posted about this. They're like, yes, a lot of people think that, but the song came out a month ago. So at this point, we might have to start accepting that this relationship is real because they could have done a lot less to still generate buzz. Like everyone was buzzing literally just about the video. They could have just kissed in the video and written it off like, oh, we were just acting, and then like been like sort of like seen out and about together. They didn't have to like go through all these hoops and be all these places. Like they were at a bookstore the other day looking very coupley in like a very normal way. And it was just people on their cell phone filming them. And now at the beach in Miami, like there's some footage of them in a pool. I can't post that footage because I don't own it. So there was some footage of them in a pool, like Frenching. And people like, see, the paparazzi would never get that close, but it wasn't actually the paparazzi. It was just like normal citizens like filming on their phone because it was grainy. Anytime you see something that's grainy, it's not the paparazzi. People sell or usually just give footage to media outlets. I know, she's going to bring it up again. I used to run a celebrity magazine. That's how I know this. I'm not just like speculating. So the footage, though, of them in the ocean did seem more paparazzi-ish, which is leading people to be like, okay, well, why did these two people who were never usually caught by the pops suddenly getting so much footage, so much coverage? Because if there's one thing I've told you, and if there's one thing we know, paparazzi are actually not just everywhere. Celebrities call them. They call them. And it's not even like, oh, the hotel manager is going to call them or someone on the beach. Like, they don't know who to call. Do you know who to call? I barely do, and I did this for a living. You know, and it's like there's no incentive. You don't get like a cash bonus or a cut of the money for calling TMZ and Backgrid and stuff to come and photograph. So it's a celebs. So it's like, that's kind of a point against the validity of their relationship. But you guys keep saying, and I keep agreeing with you, it's like, I believe it's real, but it just feels very ostentatious, in a way that undercuts the validity of the relationship. And that's why we're going to talk about PDA today. Because, correct, probably most of us will not be in the position where the paparazzi are catching us Frenching and finger blasting each other in an ocean. But like on a smaller scale, people do engage in PDA for much the same reason Shawn and Camila call the paparazzi on themselves. Clout, validation, and drama. We've talked before about warm and cold-blooded animals. And it's interesting, like I think of Shawn and Camila both as like fairly warm-blooded animals. Now the difference is a cold-blooded animal, in terms of being a person, just like a snake, can't regulate what's going on inside. Kylie Jenner, I always say, is the ultimate cold-blooded animal. She's got to have tons of makeup to feel normal, posting all these selfies, crazy lavish vacations. She needs to constantly remind everyone so that they validate her because she has no inner core of self-esteem to regulate that. The opposite end, I think the ultimate warm-blooded animal is Rihanna or like Kate Middleton. People who, they got their life. They don't need it from you. That's fine. They know they're rich, they know they're hot, they know they're wanted. I don't need it from the masses. So, and I think of like Shawn and Camila like this, like sort of low key, but sometimes two rights make a wrong, two warms make a cold. And I'm like, why are you guys doing this? So why do people do this IRL? Well, like I said, PDA is like whistling. And it's super fun for the people doing it. It's agony for everyone else. And that means the reason they're doing it is almost to like throw it in everyone's face. It's like kind of a power thing sometimes. So PDA can be a sign of deep immaturity, deep low self-esteem, or a deep need for control. What should we talk about first? Let's talk about control, since we already kind of started. So yes, there's the aspect of I'm going to shove this behavior in everyone else's face and I'm going to make other people uncomfortable. Fuck you, Dad. By doing these like inappropriate public displays of affection to like exert my independence, to be angsty and weird, and just to show everyone like, I have a vagina and I know how to use it. I said before that like a lot of girls go through this I have a vagina phase. It's about at age 19, 20. Miley Cyrus went through it. Bella Thorne is currently going through it. And from what I hear, Bailey Madison will be going through it soon. Ugh, girl. Oh, yikes. Buckle up for that one. I heard it's going to be bad. But aside from that, the element of power comes in if a guy is the one chronically doing PDA. And when we think of PDA, we actually think of like the girl initiating it. And this is how I hate society. It's brainwashed girls into like assuming all of the bad behavior in a relationship. Oh, like I'm going to be the one who wants to be around my boyfriend all the time. No. A boy will cling to you like a drowning person because guys have way fewer friends than girls, by and large. Oh, I'm going to be the one who's like constantly pawing at my boyfriend in public. He's like, get off me, bitch. No. In my experience, the person doing the PDAing is the guy. And when that happens, to me, that's the biggest sign of a toxic red flag relationship. I had this situation with a guy once, and like it was so weird to me because he was like abjectly mean to me at times. He was mean. He was also short. I mean like short, like 5'4" short, not like 5'11", like empirically shorty. And he would just be mean to me. He'd like make fun of me and like whatever. But then when we would go out, I mean, he could not keep his hands off me, touching me, petting my hair, hand on my neck, kissing, blah, blah, blah. And like, I noticed, and like, I would accept it because I was like, oh, well, he's finally being nice to me. Like, great, I'll take it. Okay. And then one night we were out and like, there was this group of guys and they were looking at me and Eric was like all over me. And I was like, get the fuck off me. And he was like, I was like, stop touching me. And before he could stop himself, he's like, well, I don't want those guys looking at you. And I was like, Well, I do. I have the right to be looked at if I want to. I don't exist to please whoever it is I'm dating. It's not like, oh, if I'm not dating him, I'm just never going to put on makeup again. I don't only get dressed up for a dude. I get dressed up for me, and I like the attention, and that's my right. Sometimes I like getting catcalled. When I was younger and I'd get dumped, I would walk by construction sites and I would just feel better about myself. Like, I feel like a lady. I feel noticed again, you know? Not saying everyone has to, believe me. And then I reach a tipping point and like guys follow you and they make that I can't even do it with that sucking sound through their teeth. Blech. But on a night out, when you're dressed up and there's a hot group of bankers looking at you, it's like, girl, still got it. And he was purposely trying to lay claim to me. Wars are fought over land, right? And I was considered his real estate, his territory, and not in a sweet way. I was considered property. And I was like, why don't you just pee a circle around me if you're so concerned about who else is looking at me? And that was like the beginning of the end when I kind of woke up to like what he was doing with these gestures that I thought was so sweet. And we see this in other toxic and abusive relationships. Not that he was abusive, but he would have been. He would have for sure smacked me down the line. If he could have reached up that high to get to my face, maybe, moved a little stool or an ottoman over to where I was, he would have hit me. But we see this a lot in pre-abusive relationships. It's an element of control. But it's dressed up to be so nice. Oh my gosh, you guys, he took me on a shopping spree and he bought me all these new clothes. He doesn't want me to wear my old clothes. He only wants me to wear what he bought me. He doesn't even want me to go to book club. He wants me to stay home, and he said he's going to be so lonely, so I'm going to stay home. That's isolation. That's control. And PDA is not so far off from that. It's definitely an element. But let's say it's not. Let's say you're just two horny kids who are hot for each other. You got the hot pants. I get it. I've been there too. Hopefully I will again. Like, yes, there's the element of, what did I say? Control, rebellion, basically, and just overt sexuality. I really think you're doing yourself, that's right, drama. I really think you're doing yourself a disservice if you flaunt your relationship and like the sexual chemistry you have so largely in public. Talk about isolating. It's gross. No one's like, wow, look at their love. People are like, it's sickening. Just watch the episode of The Office where Michael and Holly are like all over each other. It's gross. And then you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do I have to like pee a circle around my boyfriend? Why do I always have to be touching him? Why do we have to be waiting in line at the fair with like our hands in each other's hoodie pocket and like walking in unison? Nothing makes me more insane than that. And it's always teenagers. And I'm like, I'm going to take a baseball bat or I'm going to turn the hose on you two to break you up. It's so lame. Because I think if someone is like so physically fused, certainly you're emotionally and mentally fused. And I don't mean that as a good thing. When you're young, honestly though, at any age, you need some separation, right? You need a his and a hers. We all go through what I call the boyfriend abyss when we first couple up with someone. It's like you spend like a month or two just like, just falling completely in love with each other and into each other and spending all your time together. But then a healthy relationship kind of reaches back to an equilibrium. You start going to the gym, he sees his friends again. You learn to integrate each other into the relationship, but in a healthy, well-paced kind of way. So when I see people who are doing that PDA, I'm like, you're not well-paced. There's not an integration here. There's a blanketing. So if a guy needs to touch you like that, if you need to touch him, that means you probably don't want to spend a night without him. If he can't go away for a week or you're going to freak out, he can't go out with his friends or you're not going to have a meltdown. And when that happens, we have to ask ourselves, what does this person actually represent? Because there is almost no one on earth who you are literally that gassed up about that there isn't an element of desperation, that he isn't partly some sort of getaway car away from larger issues in your life. Or, like I said, there's the abuse and the control aspect that you're just not recognizing yet because it hasn't gotten there. So it's important to take a step back. And if you're like, okay, I don't think this person is potentially abusive. He's not like, basically the PDA might be coming from me. Look at your life and be like, what is this person physically and emotionally sheltering me from? I am like curled up against him to hide from what? What in the world? I mean, when I have a bad day, my boyfriend literally holds me like a baby. And I'm like, I need you to physically shelter me from like the consequences of my own decisions and like my daily life. Like, please be my own little like wall. But like, normally that's not what I use him for. He's my partner and it's balanced. I mean, we're each other's support system, but in a healthy, again, well-paced way. So if that seems out of whack to you, if you're like, and if you don't know, I mean, try it. Like, go out one night, do something normal, go to the movies, and really monitor and be mindful and present in your physical gestures and your behaviors. Are you always like, beyond just the hand holding, the linked arms, the snoogling, like, are you Frenching? Are you grab-assing? Like, is there just like that blanketing? And then stop doing it and see how you feel and listen to what's going on inside. If it's like, if it's that panic feeling, then he's a crutch for something. Or if it's like, if I don't grab a hold of him with literally both hands, someone else will. Some other girl will. Now, why do you think that? Girl, nobody wants your man, okay? I mean, maybe, but not to the point that you have to like be in piggyback status all the time. But if you think that, is that because he keeps you just off center enough with not calling as regularly as he should? Maybe he'll show up for a date. Maybe he'll flick, I fell asleep. Maybe he's keeping you off kilter and you're in this constant state of reaching, both emotionally for him and like literally physically reaching out through the night for him. Or has he terrorized you into thinking, you know, like, I'm flirting with other girls? Like, it's so subtle when guys do that. They like a bunch of things on Instagram. I wish you had this bathing suit that this hoe on Instagram had. I wish you looked more like her. Oh, she's got a great ass. You don't. So then, yes, you don't want to let him out of your sight. You are constantly thinking that threats are coming in. And he has created that, right? Or you've created it in your mind and you've told yourself that your boyfriend is irreplaceable. Oh, no. There's 1,000 of them. There's only one of you. To quote our generation's greatest philosopher, Kanye West. So look and listen to what that intuition, that anxiety is telling you. Because anxiety is a doomsday scenario. Anxiety is like, it's like a clown that instead of telling jokes, it tells bad news. He's going to leave you at the concession stand. You're going to walk back from getting a corn dog and he's going to be getting a blowjob. Probably not. But if you think that, that's a data point, you know? So to bring this all back to Camila and Shawn, you got to wonder why they're doing this quite as hardcore. The theory is because he's gay and they're trying to quell the rumors. And like I have said, literally, Shawn Mendes. Shawn, if this is a hoax, we're not going to be happy. We're not going to be happy. I will love you always, but I won't be angry, just disappointed. I want to know your guys' thoughts, not only on Shawn and Camila, because I feel like I've done so many videos, like I know y'all's thoughts. You're like, there's something that just seems forced. But tell me if like this new round of photos changes anything. If this like is just entrenching that confirmation bias, you're like, he seems even gayer to me now. You know, like when we don't want to believe something, we just like dig our heels in. Or if you're like, I mean, yeah, like it's probably real. It just seems like this is a lot to fake because the tenets of logic are the simplest answer is almost always the right one. So we can believe that like this is an incredibly elaborate staged thing for the murky purpose of proving that he's straight, which he's now going to have to keep up for the rest of his life and because he can't backtrack now, or they like each other. So I'm going with the latter. I'm going with this is like, yeah, maybe they're not great at this and they're capitalizing on the clout, you know, to like make headlines. And like I've said before, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with them in terms of their career. They could be up for a movie role opposite of each other. They could be teeing up a reality show to like branch into TV stuff. We don't know. But this could be part of a larger story that has nothing to do with gayness. You know, this could be part of a larger career story, a larger You know, I don't know, but I'm going to take it for what it's worth. Also, tell me your thoughts on PDA. Do you look back with a PDA-ish boyfriend and you're like, oh, gross. Now I see what was going on. Did PDA like push you further than you wanted to? And now, like, what is actually your parameter, your PDA parameter? For me, no open mouths. You can smooch, and I don't mind seeing people smooch. Actually, yes, I do. It's gross. But like a little, you know, a smooch is fine. If you open your mouth and there is Frenching, wide open mouths. Absolutely not. Take it somewhere else. Take it to the corn dog stand. I'm not here for it. For more, click like and subscribe for new videos as soon as news breaks. And like I said, follow me on Insta at ShallonXO and listen to my new podcast out today. Girl on Top, every place podcasts are found. Bye, senoritas. Mwah.